Hey, hello. So, welcome back, everyone. I think it's been some time since we've last done a live stream around vibe coding and using cursor to build our projects and enhance them. If you have not seen our last stream, we did a few things over there. We essentially improved and added a new section called projects as part of our project using cursor and the cursor ID and prompting all of our details here as part of the cursor chat interface and providing it steps to execute and requesting it for create a new project section which redirects and list all of my projects in a YouTube video list style, and I can click on any one of these and it redirects me to the project itself where I can see, look, and watch through and explore about it. We also added some additional capabilities to the agentic AI startup dashboard itself, where we provided an input for a Gemini API key, which you can do and analyze all of the Indian agentic AI startups through AI analysis, as well as additional parameters and information we have already brought through and made available for users to look at. So that's what we have done. Now, as part of today's live stream, we have a few action items. So I have noted them down here. Firstly, what we'll start by doing is updating the thumbnail of our projects. So currently it's the default thumbnail that you see, which is essentially an image of mine. I want this to update specifically to the agentic AI startup dashboard. So we'll do that, which is simple enough change. What we'll then do is make like a mobile friendly version, or essentially make sure the css and the website is responsive and adapting to all sort of screen sizes. Now today, if I look at, let's just quickly take a look. If I do a developer tools and look at the layout, I think all of this looks good. I come here, this is where it ends up breaking, and I have to scroll through from left to right and then be able to select for example my project screen, which again is not really optimized for a mobile view, or even for that matter any of the latest mobile views as well. I'll have to keep scrolling from left to right. So ideally I don't want this to happen, and just for it to be a single page with all of this information, or essentially zoomed out like this way, is what we are seeing. So that's what we'll do, and make sure we make the css responsive. Now in order to do that, recently cursor has released something called as a plan mode, where before coding or before committing or editing or adding to the code base, instead it tries to do and perform a plan based on the requirements that's given, and synthesize the information and the prompt that has been given in order to implement, create a plan which essentially includes details about what it's going to do, along with steps for the to-do list and items and executions that it will perform as part of these updates. So that essentially is the planning mode within cursor today. What we'll do is build our responsive website across mobiles and other screen sizes using the plan mode within cursor. I do have cursor handy with me, and I think this is updated to the latest version, where I can actually look at and plan as an action instead of just type and give some input to the screen. So let's move over to cursor for a second, where we'll have all of this information available to us. And now that we are on cursor, as you can see, there's an agent mode which we use by default for most of our actions. But what we also have now is something called as plan, which we were discussing. There are also questions and other options where you can ask specific questions, nothing to execute in terms of adding capabilities, but if you have any queries around the code base that you want to know and learn, you can always ask. And background is essentially a background agent which runs behind the scenes and does the operations and actions that it has been told to perform. Whereas what we will be interested in today in trying out is the plan mode within cursor, where it can create detailed plans for accomplishing tasks. So let's start off with a basic one, and the first one to begin with, which was essentially adding the thumbnail for our project. So today this is the local hosted version of my site. As you can see, it has an image of myself, but what we have is a new image that I pulled through, which was part of our series around essentially what we do with these AI agent products. And as part of our roast series that we did a while ago, we looked at all of these startups and created YouTube live streams just like this one and got them around. What we have done now is essentially added a screenshot or an image grab that we would like to use. So if you go to cursor and under static, I've added an images section here, which is the thumbnail I wanted to use, which is essentially roasting Indian agentic startups as part of it. What I want to do is now use this as my thumbnail for the project that I've listed here. So let's just exactly do that. Now we don't really need to plan this because it's simple enough. What I'll do is definitely copy the path of this file, which is copy relative path, paste it here and give it the prompt using Whisper, which is another tool that we use to improve the time spent in order to prompt and give instructions. So where we are actually just narrating or dictating our requirement, and it just transcribes and paste it into any input field we are currently working on. So what I'll do exactly that. I have listed and provided the relative path for a static image, which is under the static images folder within the code base called roasting underscore AI dot png. I want this to be the actual thumbnail in the project section where the Indian agentic AI dashboard is listed. So could you please essentially ensure that for the project listed the image is the following in the given path, and make those change. So as you can see, I just prompted it something, and the good thing with Whisper is also it integrates with Cursor in a way it can tag these files and sections. So it has already roasting ai.png, which has reference as part of my dictation, is already pinged or mentioned for the agent to take action on. So we'll start and execute the same, and we'll let it run for some time. Now while that's running, let's come back to our section around number 2, which is a broader action item, which is to create a mobile friendly version of the website and ensure all the sections are properly accommodated, displayed and visible to the users, whether they are on a smaller screen of a smartphone or a larger screen of your laptops or desktops. So that's what we'll do. What we can actually also do is run it in parallel, but looks like this the changes required are actually already done by cursor. So let's just do that. Let's go back, and as you can see, the image now referenced, which is my local host, is actually of that where we roast Indian agentic startup analysis. So this is great. Now one of our other action items, let maybe that's probably a quicker one, is to add patent pilot to redirect users. Now how do we do that? I think again we'll use cursor and its capabilities to wipe code and make sure another project listing of patent pilot is done. Now you might wonder what exactly patent pilot is. So patent pilot is one of our projects internally that we built, which helps patent filing your inventions and creations on the Indian Patent Office and get suggestions on how patentable your idea is, and whether it think of it as like your analysis and your agent that does all of the research associated to an invention that you want to file a patent for. So it recommends you steps as to how do you for your invention that you are working on, firstly whether it is even patentable or not. It gives you a patent score on the likelihood of the patentability. You can then look at the action items and how performing certain action items will improve your patentability score and eventually lead to an actual patent being filed. Now maybe let me just try to show you what it does. And for now I'll just keep it simple where the likelihood of patent is lesser. Let's just try it out and see what suggestions it gives to us. um, a platform where you can ask questions and get answers, leveraging the best of the internet knowledge base as well as LLMs to answer any query of any format by the users. Now this is a very vague idea. I just came up with something on the spot just for it to analyze and give some suggestions. but let's try that out and how it works. So what I'll do is just paste my input here. Let me bring back the screen for you. uh, and as you can see, a platform, so we have entered 32 words, which is, the more context you give, as I mentioned, the better the LLM and the output is for you. But here, let's just any case analyze the patentability. Know that I'm already signed in using my Google authentication, and it will analyze whatever I've provided as input, look at the patentability of the same, and give me suggestions and action items. Now, this is one of our projects, as I mentioned, and currently it's not listed within our homepage of project. So I want to make another entry for patent pilot here, where users coming onto our website can also then look at our projects, which includes patent pilot that we recently launched and analyzed. Now, while this analyzes, what we can do and perform is tell cursor about this objective, and let's try and use the plan mode that has recently been announced by cursor, and make sure and see how that works. So for this one, at least the roasting one, I'll keep all of these changes, but I'll switch over from agent to a plan mode, and we'll give it the same input like we were talking about. I have the website now, which is doing pretty well in terms of the content it has. But what I would like to do is to ensure and make sure the website is responsive across all screen sizes it is viewed upon. Now, our primary users will still remain desktop users, but I want to ensure even on mobiles, primarily mobiles and tablet interfaces, the website evolves and the CSS and the rendering happens correctly. So I wanted to create a plan where essentially all the sections and pages starting from the home page are represented in a mobile friendly UI and are rendered fully, because today when I render, I can attach images where when I enter and open the website on a mobile phone, I have to scroll from left to right or minimize or pinch through the content in order for it to take the whole screen or be aligned in a way where it is actually readable and presentable. So I want to ensure such issues are taken care of and are resolved. I'll give you glimpses of what I see as part of the images that I attach here. But essentially the goal here is to make a mobile friendly interface of our website. So please work on the same and build a plan. Now, as you can see, I've given it some input. It has prompted and created a prompt for me based on that. What I'll do now, as I was mentioning, is provide it with some screenshots. Essentially, now I can go to my projects here. Let's use the developer tools, under more tools and developer tools. And as you can see, I am on a dimension of 430 by this thing. I can fit to window, which is also fine, but it doesn't do. I'll have to scroll from left to right in order to see what's there, or minimize like this. But let's just again refresh this and see how it does on a different screen. Let's do iPhone 14 is the latest one that it has. Let's try with iPhone 12 Pro. Right, let's go to the home page first. So as you can see, it cuts the other half of the render it has to do. So let me just take a screenshot, make it part of my cursor prompt. I will also go to some other page called projects where a similar thing is happening. So I'll also take the screenshot of that for it to reference and know what is going on. And one last could probably be of the blogs, which I think, yeah, even here it's the same situation, because if I pinch through this and sort of expand my or minimize this, right, if you can see, it does work, but it's just that it for some reason wants to expand. So I've given these three images, I've given the prompt, and let's see what the plan does. And this is me as well using the plan mode for the first time, so both of us are for a surprise as to what this thing should look like. mm, so what did it do? It referenced In Hugo's currently using custom CSS, how extensively do you want to modify only my custom, also modifying the base files? Yeah, so I don't really, because the base files are from a sub module and a git repository, I can't really make changes there, but I can certainly ensure that it is done for my current one. Good, I can see you already have some responsive styles based on the screenshot, likely some element that need better optimization. Do you want to modify the base, or only or keep only in your custom override? So answer for that is, for one, uh, don't update directly in the themes folder, override the changes in custom fashion for my code base which I have control over, right? Let's answer the second question. For the header navigation menu, what behavior? Hamburger simplify with smaller text. Hamburger, as that is supported by the theme. What's the answer? There is already a hamburger menu like we saw, but let's see what it does. Minimum for mobile optimization, standard modern smartphones, standard smartphones, modern smartphones, right? So let's do that and press enter. I don't know, I don't, it's still in plan mode, so I don't know if it will actually switch over to an agent mode and start creating or making those changes, but let's see what's the output here. Maybe we just turn a flag and turn over to agent mode and get it working. Oh, so looks like it is creating a plan for me, as you can see. Let me close the terminal. Key issues to address based on screen and layout breaking, base mobile typography, home page mobile fixes, project page mobile optimization, blog list and single post fixes. Okay, so CTA, footers, and all of that. So it's now essentially writing a PRD for me with all of the changes that it expects and it is trying to do, along with a testing checklist, the files that will be modified for the CSS changes, and the to-do list items. So what we'll do is essentially leave it, let it run where I've accepted the plan and told it to build. So now it will take a look at those to-do lists and build something out for us. While that is being done, where we have multiple to-do lists, what can we do? What I have recently actually also done for our website is also publish a new blog, which is around the Google PM interview process and how that is, and how they have now a new concept of what is called vibe, which means values, imagination, brain power, and your execution skills. Now, vibe coding is not just vibe coding like we're doing, providing it multiple prompts, but vibe coding through an interview process is actually understanding your values and a taste of how things should be built, what your imagination is on how to build that specific feature for your users, right? The brain power, right, or the problem solving skills under pressure to not just answer some theoretical solution to a problem, but actually try building a smaller MVP version of it just within the call itself. So that is what vibe is in terms of the Google PM interview, and how they have started to introduce the same for all of the candidates that they are interviewing, for the most part around product, or probably or even GTM, but primarily for the product roles, right? Where the takeaway essentially is to make use of these vibe parameters, which are your values, imagination, brain power, and your execution skills, right? And the types of questions under each scenario to ask is, do you protect against harmful content as part of your values in the product? Do you propose bold but feasible charges? Can you reason through pipeline logically? And can you design a phase rollout with metrics for users to firstly use the platform, and then for you to then make sure they are working and applicable for users. So this is the Google PM interview which we recently added. Now here let's look at our thing on how it is doing. Wait, what did it do? Let's just minimize it a little bit. So now here I gave it the option change mobile typography. Okay, it made some changes, reduce padding and font sizes, project pages, blog pages. It made a lot of changes. Okay, so maybe it is done for the most part. I don't see the to-do list items ticked out, but that's fine. What we'll do now is refresh this, go back to blogs, and where were we? What were we trying to do is essentially look at a mobile friendly version, right? So let's just open DevTools. Let's navigate over. So as you can see, it is now rendering correctly, right? The blogs, and there is a hamburger menu. I have all of this also rendering. What I'll do is make it dynamic or responsive and see how that is transitioning our website. So as you can see, for smaller screen size, it's still, I mean, there is no smartphone, it's probably this wide for the most part, and as it grows you can see the layout also changing over a period of time, at least on the lower elements. As you can see, let me just try show it again. The layout keeps changing, which is good. Let's open one of our projects pages which I didn't look at earlier, which also for the most part looks to be taking inspiration, which is good. Let's look at our blog page, which is also looking good across screen sizes as well, and I can look at PM interview itself and how that looks like on a smartphone, which is looking good. Okay, I think that got done pretty quickly, so to say. It has done 12 out of the 21 to-do list items. What are the remaining ones? Add base homepage typography, add homepage, blah blah blah. Most of it is done. All changes, no. Let me comment. This looks good. Cover and review all the to-do items and close them if done. So let's see what it goes about and does. 21 out of 21 are done, which is good. I will keep all of my changes because they looked good to me. I will close this now. Now the plan that you're seeing here, I can actually make it part of my code base so that I can reference it later, because it is basically a markdown file. Let's preview. Let's see what options we have. Markdown. Okay, this is the preview of the markdown itself. Now I remember there was a way to save these plans itself. Maybe I can't find it. Yeah, I don't see open plan in editor. Save to workspace. Yeah, this is the one. So if I save it to workspace, it is now part of my cursor files, which are committed but not actually. If I can make it part of my git ignore files, they will be taken care of. So this is the good advantage of plans, where for the most part earlier on when we started with vibe coding, if you remember during the early days, we used to essentially look at all of the content. We used to give it smaller prompts and probably not even detailed prompts to begin with, but now that we are dictating it, providing it as much as context like we did in the initial prompts, as you can see here, the better it generates in terms of its output. But with the plan functionality under agent and cursor, it can build, essentially looking at your problem statement, build a PRD in essence on what you're asking for, and then you can approve of the build and what it has synthesized from your input prompt, and execute on that plan and the to do items that it needs to take action on and run asynchronously while you work on some other things. And you can also save these plans like we did under cursor slash plans. So I think that's mostly it. So we wanted firstly to have a responsive website. The other action item that we had, let's go back to the list, was create a mobile friendly version, which we have also done. We have also done this. And the third part is adding patent pilot project uh, to redirect users. So let's do the third piece as well, and we will then move further. And for that, because it's a small change, I don't really want it to plan it first. It can probably just make sense of what I provide and go from there, but I'll provide it with all the resources and references. Now moving forward, I have another project that I built recently, which is called Patent Pilot. It essentially is like a patent agent for you in order to help you file patents, analyze patents, and help you across your patent lifecycle journey. So I want you to create a new project within the projects page, similar to how we did the agentic AI dashboard, but this time around patent pilot platform, giving a brief description about patent pilot, and when clicking on that, redirecting the user in a new tab to this website called patentpilot.vercel.app, which I will provide you a link for, and essentially redirect users to there. And as part of that listing, have a UTM source, which is my origin website called shagun.xyz, so that when I'm looking at web analytics on where users have come to patent pilot from, I can easily distinguish that these number of users have actually come from a being redirected from my own website project section itself. So that's what I want you to do, and I'm attaching a link to the patent pilot platform, which I want you to redirect when clicking on that project listing on the projects page. So as you can see, now I've given that prompt, it's processed it through, written it down for me in detail that I can take a look at. So the more detailed your prompts are, the better results you obviously get. And what I'll do is provide this URL, which is essentially our patent pilot website that I was mentioning, which I built again through vibe coding and with help of Gemini and the APIs. And I will attach this at the end, right? And given this is just another project listing that we want to do within our projects page, we will go ahead and let it just execute without having to plan for it, because this looks like simple enough. Now while that executes, as you can see today, the website on the project screen that we were able to code so far is listing our in agentic AI, and as you can see, it's automatically now starting to also add the patent pilot platform also. Now the one thing I've noticed is cursor has gotten very fast. It just did the whole thing so quickly, and I can click here, and as you can see, it also provides the UTM details and correctly redirects to that page itself. Now given I don't have a thumbnail for this, let's just give it some image or a screenshot of the patent pilot website itself. I will give it this logo that I built in a sense to be used. Use the following attached image as the thumbnail for the patent pilot project listing on the website. Now this is again a small change, so just let the agent do it, and let's come back to the local host and see as the changes are being made live. So it has figured out and built a to do. It is trying to update the image, but what I will have to do actually, because I just copy pasted it from my clipboard, it did not actually render it correctly. It errors out because the file has to actually exist somewhere, which is for the most part are static page. So what I'll do now is save that file or save that image that I just copied and save it within this section. Let's go to patent pilot. Here we will again, how do I save this? I can copy it from here. I have it here as well, but I actually want to save this as an image on Mac. I remember, let me preview. It's the preview ad definitely, or maybe not. Now given this is part of my, let's just paste it in the document here on what we want, and I will try to image options, size and rotation, all of that is fine. How do I save this? I can save it to Keep, which saves it in Google Keep. Did it do that? Okay, it has the untitled document, okay, which is the document itself. Now let's open Keep here once again. If I can do that and paste the image, yeah. Now I save the image and save it as something patent pilot under downloads. Right, now I go back to my cursor. Under static I go ahead and paste my file as well. So I open my file explorer, go to downloads, and under static images I actually put patentpilot.png, which is the same thing. And what has placed the logo Shagun GitHub site static images patent pilot logo.png. So just for the sake of consistency I will rename it that. Rename patent pilot logo.png. That's done. It has the patent pilot logo now. Now if I go back to the website, okay, but it's not rendering correctly. That's the other bit. How do I make it work? Or maybe just have, let's just try reveal in Finder for now, and let me try to just crop it to just be the image that we are looking at, right? Because that will essentially ensure that whatever the user sees, there's an option to edit. How do I mark up? Okay, that is a little strange, but you know what, I think I will leave it like this for now. And if you are watching the stream still, the code for the website is actually hosted on GitHub and is public for everyone to contribute on. So maybe if you're looking at the stream later on or live right now, I would request you to contribute as part of Hacktoberfest, and I've already added the Hacktoberfest label to this. And as part of Hacktoberfest, you are essentially encouraged to work and contribute to open source projects. And my website that we are working on and have been improving using vibe coding and cursor is actually an open source project. I would actually encourage someone from the chat to actually go to this GitHub website called shagun/site, where all of the code exists, and crop the image and share a PR for it to be approved, where it actually renders correctly on our thumbnail of projects. So that's what we'll do, and end the stream for now. See you guys tomorrow. And what I'll do quickly is just commit all of these changes so that they are live for you to also look at. I will close this. I will add a commit message for the changes we made today during the live stream, so you have the latest stuff as well. Commit those changes and actually push those changes as well to the main branch. Now while that is done, let's just confirm that by going to GitHub, refreshing here, and the commit should actually tell that is just done now. And while the website builds it and incorporates the latest changes, I will stay here for a while to ensure that it gets done successfully. And once that is done, I think we are good, and I would expect someone from the chat and someone looking at the video later point of time to actually submit a PR with a cropped image or even a better image with the logo suggestion for patent pilot that we should use and list as part of the projects listed on the website itself. So yeah, I think I will call it a day with that for this live stream. See you tomorrow uh, in our next live streams. I think we have a bunch of live streams planned out where we are talking, and we will be looking at Zoho, for example. We will look at Perplexity's Comet browser and how it can automate a lot of your workflows. We will try and also look at MCPs as well as contribute to some Hacktoberfest open source repositories as well. So there are plenty of things that are planned and will be available as part of the actions we take as part of these live streams. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, and share if you found this useful. But I'll see you guys soon and looking forward to your contributions. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining.